All right, thank you, everybody. We hope you're doing good and your family are healthy. Thank you for your time. We know this is a very difficult time and different that the way we used to do business together. We used to have more in-person communication, but because we don't control what happened, but we can control how we can help you. So that's why we have this session today with BitTitan to help you simplify your migration project. Please welcome Adam Bell from BitTitan and also Jack. Jack, it will be very interesting for me to pronounce your last name. Can you help me?
Jedlicka.
Great, thank you. And I am Marlene Novo. I am the Global Alliance Manager at Intcomex Cloud. So we help the division in cloud to incorporate new solutions, and BitTitan is one of them. So please welcome to this session and feel free to ask all your questions, concerns. If it's in Spanish, don't worry. You can text in the chat and I will translate your question to Adam and to Jake so we can all address your questions, okay? Go ahead, Adam, and welcome again.
Thanks, Marlene. Really do appreciate it. Excited to be talking with everyone today. Thanks for carving out the time to learn a little bit more about how BitTitan can help simplify your migrations to the cloud for your customers. So without further ado, we're just going to kind of jump into it. I do have some kind of poll questions I'm going to throw up. They're just slides here, but if you'd like to answer and just put those in the chat, I think it'd be a really helpful way to keep the presentation a little bit more interactive today. I'm somebody that normally likes to present in person, be able to walk around the room, and I love the engagement that I can get with the crowd, with the audience. So anything that you can provide there would be much appreciated. With that, we're going to keep it kind of light and informative as well. So jumping into the presentation, simplifying migrations with BitTitan. As Marlene just mentioned, my name is Adam Bell. I'm Channel Sales Manager for the Americas here at BitTitan. You've got my contact information there. Absolutely feel free to reach out and we'll certainly do what we can to help, as well as reaching out to the wonderful people at Intcomex Cloud that can assist you with questions that you have about BitTitan. So just taking a quick look at the agenda for today, we're going to look at what I'm calling this cloud now landscape and some of the factors that are playing into that. We're going to talk about why Migration Wiz. Why is BitTitan's Migration Wiz tool relevant for partners, especially in today's environment? And then I'll review quickly for you some of our licensing, as we've got several new licenses that are available via Intcomex. And then also talk about profitability. How can we help enable you to increase your profitability on your service delivery? So that's going to be a big core component of the presentation today. So we've also got some additional resources and support items that we'll have kind of at the end of here. So as was mentioned, this webinar is recorded today, so you'll get a copy of that, and you'll get a copy of this deck as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat and we'll have some time set aside at the end to go over those. And then likewise, as we're going through the presentation, feel free to engage with the poll questions. I think it'll help keep us all a little bit more engaged here. So, you know, as Marlene was alluding to there at the start, COVID's obviously impacted us all in pretty dramatic ways, and certainly hope that you and yours are staying healthy and safe. And I thought this statistic was surprising when this was released last April, right? 88% of organizations asking their employees to work remotely. This is over a year now where this has been the norm. And so with that being the case, that means that the companies that are near you are trying to figure out how they weren't set up for working remotely, and they need you, the technology partner, to help assist them in a move to the cloud to be able to make that possible. And quick poll question here. So this is the first one. Wanted to start off with one because this is another scenario that's affecting this kind of cloud now landscape, right? Have any of your customers talked to you about Hafnium's on-prem exchange hack? Has that been something that has been on the minds of your customers? The options here are A, yes, it has. B, no, they have not contacted you about this. Or C, you haven't heard about Hafnium's on-prem exchange hack. So if you wouldn't mind, just throw an answer there into the chat, and we'll let that sit for a second. But Hafnium's on-prem exchange hack has kind of taken over the news here recently, and it is for those that don't know, Hafnium is a Chinese state-sponsored hacking group, and they hacked into Microsoft's on-prem exchange systems and affected over 60,000 systems. And that number we're finding is just continuing to grow. And so now is actually, I think, a really critical time to be talking with your customers about the vulnerabilities of being on some of these on-premise systems, because they require manual updates and patching. And if those are forgotten, servers can be vulnerable to these types of attacks where, cloud technology, it's continually updated, continually automatically patched so that there's not these same types of vulnerabilities if they were to be in the cloud. So could be a great time to have a conversation with your customers about this if they're still on an on-prem exchange server. And for these reasons, I think it's very fair to say that we are in this cloud now world where businesses are trying to figure out how can we enable work from home, how can we enable a remote workforce, and they have to rely on the cloud to be able to execute business as they need to stay afloat. And so migrations are essential and required for this to take place. And so that's what we're going to be talking with you about today. And these customers really need your expertise. And we are here to help you if you have never done a migration before, or if you've done migration, but not with an automated tool like BitTitan. We're here to help you and provide you with the expertise you need to deliver a successful project to your customer. And I think especially right now, business continuity is critical for these businesses as they need to be able to stay afloat and have business continue as normal. They've had enough disruption to their business with COVID, and now potentially others with being hacked. There's a lot of things going on. So anything that you can do to help enable their move to the cloud to be more seamless is going to be greatly appreciated by your customers. And that's really where we come in, right? BitTitan's Migration Wiz. And we have been around for over 14 years and have migrated over 22 million users to the cloud. During that entire time, we have never once lost a file or accidentally deleted a file. We're strictly a copy-paste tool and solution that automates the heavy lift manual process to migrate data to the cloud. And we have over 45,000 partners worldwide, and we do business in over 188 different countries. So we have been the leader in the space for quite a long time. And we migrate workloads to the cloud. It's what we do. Whether it's to Microsoft 365 or Google's Workspace, we can migrate to either of those destinations, but we also migrate from a wide variety of sources. So whether you need to move mail, documents, archives, PSTs, public folders, Teams. We even have a new solution for hybrid exchange management, and Outlook profile configuration is something else we do as well. So these are all tools that we provide, and we're going to be quickly covering most of these for you today. So obviously, I work for BitTitan. I think BitTitan's great, but you don't just have to take my word for it. There's a place called Gartner Peer Insights, and this is a third party where partners like yourself can go out and vote on the tools and solutions that they use and the technology that they deploy for their customers, and give an honest review of what they think. And we're really proud of the fact that in today's world, people are 19 times more likely to leave a negative review than a positive one. and we have 4.7 out of 5 stars with almost 350 reviews in. So we're very proud of our ratings. We've got the most and the best ratings out there. So go and take a look and see what your peers are saying about using BitTitan if you haven't used us before. So let's take a quick look at some of the technology behind Migration Wiz and really how and why it's relevant for you. So for today's discussion, what are you primarily using for migrations? Are you a partner that has never used a tool, an automated tool like BitTitan, and you're used to doing migrations manually? Have you used maybe some of the free Microsoft tools that are out there, some of the native tools provided? Or have you some experience with other tools? Let us know. We're going to be curious there. So A, B, or C, feel free to put that in the chat. Well, the first question I think that we have to ask is, why do you even need an automated migration tool? And the reality is manual migrations are hard. They're very difficult. There's a lot of repetitive tasks that have to be done over and over and over again. And resultantly, it's prone to mistakes and human error. There's risk of data loss, or it affects customer downtime. And there could be some technical expertise or knowledge that you thought you had, but maybe it's a different source destination combination than you're used to, and that could cause a significant problem. It could ultimately cost you a customer. And that's a very significant risk to undertake, given the complexity of these projects. And so some partners, you know, hey, they've done some manual migrations, and then they said, hey, there's got to be something better than this. And the next best option is Microsoft's got some free tools out there. And hey, a free tool is better than no tool, I'll give you that. But a free tool is not going to help you grow or scale your business or meet the needs of the complexities of all the different project types that you're going to encounter. It's also not going to automate and simplify it as well as a tool like BitTitan is going to. And I'll give you an example here. For those of you who are familiar with IKEA, the Swedish furniture manufacturer, where whatever you buy, you walk out of IKEA with it flat packed under your arm, and you get the joy of putting it together yourself when you get home. And IKEA gives you a free tool to do that. They give you one Allen wrench to put your brand new wardrobe together. And hey, that Allen wrench is better than no tool, I'll give you that. But as somebody who has bought IKEA furniture before, I can tell you I've learned from my mistakes, and I don't use that free tool. I bring a power drill to it with the right headset, and I can knock out that putting together that wardrobe way faster than if I was using that little Allen wrench. And so, you know, in the same kind of way, you're a professional business. You need a professional tool to do a professional job. And that little Allen wrench isn't going to be something that's going to help scale your business. So in the same kind of a way, you need that power drill. You need true automation brought to the process that's going to be adaptive and be able to handle all of the project scenarios that you need. So really, why Migration Wiz? I think that, you know, we kind of explained that there, but this is why partners love using Migration Wiz. It's very easy to use. It's 100% SaaS. That means there's nothing to install anywhere on your client's environment, and there's no special training or certifications required to begin using Migration Wiz. I'm a sales rep, and as part of my onboarding 3 years ago at BitTitan, I had to successfully complete a migration without any prior experience in doing these types of projects. And I was able to pick up the tool and successfully completed 3 migrations. And you know, if I'm able to do that, imagine what your engineers would be able to do with this tool in their hands. So it's very fast, very scalable. We can migrate terabytes of data in a day, and we can migrate from a variety of different sources and destinations. And whether we're migrating 5 mailboxes or 50,000 mailboxes, however many mailboxes you need to migrate on the back end, BitTitan runs in Azure. So we will spin up as many Azure servers as we need to add as much horsepower as we need to your project to make sure that whether you're moving 5 mailboxes or 50,000 mailboxes, that there is data is flying through the cloud as fast as possible. And as it is secure and compliant. All of the data is military grade encrypted when it is both in transit and at rest during the migration process. And it meets all of the industry compliances around HIPAA, PCI, SOX, GDPR, and many, many others, as it is entirely contained in Azure. So very, very secure there. And very useful whether you're doing an SMB project, a mid-market, or enterprise. So it can handle the complexities of those enterprise-grade projects, but it's also simple enough to just pick up and migrate 50 users and get a lot of value out of it. So once you've purchased Migration Wiz, then you can begin migrating workloads with BitTitan. And I think what's really great about BitTitan is that if you're used to migrating mailboxes with BitTitan, you're in really great shape, because now you essentially know it's the same tool, it's the same UI. You'll be able to migrate several other workloads as well, whether it's documents, archives, Teams, SharePoint, whatever it is you need to migrate. You're familiar with the process, how projects are set up, and so you don't have to go and relearn an entire new tool just because you want to migrate another workload. So these are the sources and destinations that we support. We actually do support many others, but it just gets a little silly, honestly, to list them all in here. The font gets so small you can hardly read it. So these are the most common, most popular by far. We migrate everything from an exchange perspective all the way back to 2003. So if you have any businesses that you know of that are still on there, please migrate them off of there and onto Microsoft 365. We also, support Gmail, IMAP, POP, Zimbra, Lotus Notes, and many, many others. We also do tenant to tenant. So if you need to move from your client from Microsoft 365 to Microsoft 365, we can do that as well. So there's a quick snapshot of it. For some of you, I'm more of a picture guy. Here's that same slide just with a graphic. So maybe that makes it a little easier for you to kind of see the different workloads, mailboxes, archives, public folders, Teams, etc. that we migrate. So those are all of the tools and technologies that we do. Another quick question for you. So what migration workloads are you most interested in learning about today? Is it A, mailbox, B, documents, C, Teams, D, personal archives, or E, Outlook configuration? So if you wouldn't mind, just take a minute and drop your answer there in chat, and we'll be curious to see where that comes through. So we're going to transition now and talk a little bit more about some licensing and the profitability that BitTitan can bring to you with our migration capabilities. So this is a quick snapshot of the licenses available on Intcomex's marketplace, and far and away our most popular license is our user migration bundle. So we will spend some time covering that one today, but particularly I want to cover for you the ones that are marked in yellow, the new, or as I marked on there, the new-ish license that we have available to you. So these are going to be the next little bit that we're going to cover. A quick bit on licensing though. All of our licenses are purchased up front for your project, and then they're consumed on use. So if you need to migrate 50 users, you would purchase 50 user migration bundle licenses. Potentially, you might need some other Teams licenses or shared doc licenses, depending on what your project looks like. But you need one license per user or per team or per document library that you're going to move. Once you assign a license to that user or entity, it is consumed and then you can migrate that data. You have 12 months from time of purchase before that license will expire if it's not assigned to a project. And if for some reason, if you overbought, if you bought 50 and it ends up you only needed 45, those 5 licenses that you had left over, you're welcome to hang on to and use for your next project. Again, you'll have up to 12 months to use them before they would expire. So we're going to drill into these licenses a little bit more here. First up is the Migration Wiz Mailbox license, our very first license. This moves mail content to the cloud, pretty self-explanatory. So it's going to move the mail, calendar, and contact data to the cloud, depending on the technology architecture that we're migrating from as the destination. Some of the older technology, IMAP and POP, you're not able to grab those things from just because it's older technology and they were not defined as such in there, speaking specifically of calendars and contacts. So very simple there. Migration Wiz Mailbox license, typically only recommend this license now for if you're migrating shared or resource mailboxes. That's really where this is a fit. There's no other user data tied to that account. So just buy the Migration Wiz Mailbox license and move the data that way. Next up is the User Migration Bundle license. This is, again, by far our most popular license as it moves all of these different workloads over to Office 365 and also allows you to configure the user's Outlook profile, which is a really significant added automated benefit for you. So being able to migrate all of these workloads with one license is significant because effectively this allows you to do up to 4 different projects with one license. So we'll get into a minute about what that can look like from a revenue perspective for you in just a sec, but we've got to get through a couple more licenses here. So Outlook profile configuration with Deployment Pro, this is actually included in part of that User Migration Bundle license. So when you buy the User Migration Bundle, this is included with that. And this allows you to remotely configure the user's desktop. So for their Outlook profile, that means, you know, if they signatures, autocompletes, if they had a PST file associated with the user, you could bring that over and put that in there. That way their Outlook profile experience maintains the exact same as you complete the project for them. And the big deal here is this is another massive time saver for you when you use BitTitan, in that this process is automated and you don't have to go from machine to machine to configure the Outlook profile. You're able to do this 100% remotely, as with all of the mailbox migrations. You don't have to go on site. You never have to touch their machines physically to be able to migrate and configure their desktops. Next up, this is what I call our new-ish license. This has only been around for about 6 months now, the new Teams to Teams migration license. We will actually very soon be releasing capabilities to migrate from Slack to Teams as well. Today, we do strictly Teams to Teams, and everything from Teams, channels, documents, permissions, memberships, even private chats, and OneNote tabs over into Teams. And we've moved quite a lot of Teams during that time frame. And actually just in the 6-month time period that we've had this license available, it's quickly becoming our fastest growing license. As you know, talked about earlier, with 88% of organizations having to work remotely, they're all looking on what kind of solution can they standardize to allow for remote collaboration, and Teams is taking over. So we're seeing a rapid climb in demand for Teams migration. And like I said, it's only been out for 6 months, and partners have completed over $10 million in Teams migrations in the last 6 months. So the opportunities are out there. Definitely be asking if your client needs to move their Teams data with their next tenant-to-tenant move, and BitTitan can help you with that. So Teams migration, very fast and scalable. If you're used to our Migration Wiz mailbox experience, again, we mirrored the migration experience after that. So from a licensing perspective, you just need one license per team that you need to move, not per team user, but per team that you need to move. And once you've purchased the licensing for that and you've assigned it to the teams, it's a very similar migration experience that you're used to, with being able to get real-time updates in the middle of the migration and act on it and make any changes you need to on the fly. Next up is our shared document license. So we actually have seen an increase in demand for SharePoint migrations as well. So we've always supported SharePoint as a migration source and destination with our user migration bundle. But our new shared document license, this is a very rich SharePoint migration experience. So it allows for a lot more configuration of the SharePoint data as it's being migrated. So being able to move documents, sort out permissions, metadata, versioning, all of that is possible with this new license. So with this one, you will need one license per document library per 50 gigs that you need to move. So great new capability that we have there should you have any clients that need SharePoint migration capabilities. The last new license that we're going to be talking about today is the hybrid exchange management. For any of you that are doing hybrid exchange scenarios, this is another great tool where we automate part of the processes and help with the auto discovery of users and delegates, and save you time by, if you're used to configuring things with spreadsheets and scripts, this will save you so much more time. So, and allows you not to have to assign a senior level tech onto those types of projects. You could actually have a junior level tech using our tool and be able to get a lot of value out of it. So we actually have created a ROI calculator for hybrid exchange management, and you can actually go to our website, just punch in the information there, and it'll spit out a report for you and let you know what your savings would be versus doing it manually or with the scripts that you have in place today. So that was a quick flyover of the licenses that we have available to you, and from here we're going to kind of shift a little bit more into the fun stuff, right? How do I use this to help make me money? And with each of these workloads that you see here highlighted, these are workloads that you can charge a service fee for as you migrate. And from gathering data from hundreds of partners, what we've found is that partners that are able to maximize their profitability per project are those that are charging either a fixed rate per workload, or a certain amount per user that they're going to migrate. So the more workloads that you're going to migrate, the more you would charge per user. So with BitTitan, we have the tools to enable you to migrate all of these different workloads. And what I want to kind of challenge you on today is to not think of BitTitan as, hey, I buy a user migration bundle, MSRP is $15, I'm getting it through Intcomex for maybe $12 and change or something like that. Don't think of migration service as, I'm going to buy BitTitan for $12 and I'm going to charge my customer $14 per user when I migrate. That's not going to make you very much money in the process. And an analogy I'd like to give to kind of explain, why you can actually charge significantly more. What we see as an industry standard is about $50 per user that you're going to migrate. Depending on how many workloads, you could actually get as much as $100 or $150 per user, depending on project complexity and scenario. But about 50 USD is about what we see on a per user basis. So, and the analogy that I'd give to you here is, if you go to a restaurant, you have a really great meal. When the waiter brings you the bill, something you don't expect to see on the bill is the brand of knives that the chef used when he was preparing your dish, the oven usage time from when he was cooking your dish, you know, the plate utilization and all of these different things. Those aren't included on your final bill. That was part of the service that you're paying for, and going out to eat and having that meal delivered to you. So in the same kind of a way, when you charge your customers for migration services, it's actually to your advantage not to specifically mention that you're using BitTitan. That's your tool of the trade that you're using to perform the migration service. They're buying a migration service, just charge them for a migration service. You'll be able to earn significantly more by doing that. And to kind of show you how BitTitan really transforms your cost modeling when you're looking at your profitability while performing migration services, you know, if we look at this first column on the left, where you see the large green bar, and that's your current cost of goods and services today if you're doing migrations manually. And unfortunately, it takes up a lot more space than the profit or the margin that you see at the top. And that's just because of the reality of how much time it takes to complete a manual migration versus the amount that you're able to charge for the service. You can still get, hey, 30%, sometimes even 40% profit doing a manual migration. Might sound great, but we can do better. We can get you more with BitTitan. So when you automate the process, we actually cut the time it takes to complete a manual migration down to 1/10 of the time it takes to do it manually. So you're going to save a lot of time on your project, and your profit margin is going to go way, way up. To help drive this home a little bit, I actually wanted to show you what this ROI actually looks like on a real project. So we're looking at a 100-user tenant-to-tenant project, migrating from Office 365 to Office 365. We're going to compare the manual route versus using BitTitan. So if we're going the manual route, on average, it would take between 25 and 50 hours to migrate 100 users manually. For our project, it is going to be 50 hours because this is going to be a multi-workload project. We're not just migrating mail. If we were just doing mail, it'd be 25 hours, right? But we're going to be migrating documents. Maybe they've got some OneDrive. We're going to configure their Outlook. So that's a very labor-intensive project if you're doing it manually. So with 50 hours, and you're paying you have to put a senior level engineer on that project because you can't afford to have that project done incorrectly, and you would lose a customer. So you have to have a senior level tech that has a lot of knowledge of a lot of different systems when completing those kinds of migrations. So 50 times 50, that's your labor cost for the project. This is all in USD. There's no tool cost because, hey, no tools being used. You're doing the project manually. Additional remediation cost for any risk management cleanup afterwards. Total cost of goods, if you add the labor and remediation together. And then your service fee. Hey, if you're charging $50 per user that you're migrating, 50 times 100 is going to net out a service fee to the client of $5,000, which would leave you with a profit of $2,250. That's actually a healthy profit margin of 45%. That's not bad. But let's take a look at how BitTitan transforms this through automation. We're going to cut that project time down to 1/10. So instead of 50 hours, now it just takes 5. Instead of putting a senior level tech on there, you can put a junior level tech on there, lowering the labor costs that you're going to have significantly. Now you have a junior level tech working on the project for 1/10 of the time it would have taken to do with your senior level tech. You do have tool costs. I just kind of averaged out here about $12 for that user migration bundle for the project. And so $12 times 100 users, you would need $1,200 for to complete the project. Significantly reduced remediation costs because the tool has all of those capabilities already baked in. You're not going to have to do all of that extra cleanup afterwards. So your total cost of goods just got slashed in half. You're still able to charge the same rate that you were before. Just because you're using BitTitan and because you're getting the project done faster doesn't mean you have to lower your service fee. Therefore, you've got a significantly increased profit margin. Now you're up to 74%. That's actually a 63% increase in profit margin over doing it manually. And we're reducing your labor costs by over 90% when leveraging BitTitan. So obviously, being able to charge the same rate for this project is key and is going to earn you significant extra profit per project. But where it gets even better is it's not just about the profit margin you can earn on one project. It's about what does that time actually mean for you? Time is money. And so doing migrations manually, if it took you 50 hours and that's how much you could earn, or using BitTitan in 5 hours, that's how much you can earn. But with BitTitan, you could actually complete 10 projects in the amount of time it would take for you to complete that one project manually. Now, I'm not saying that you have 10 migration projects lined up and ready to go, but what I want you to see here is how valuable your time is and what this actually unlocks for you in terms of being able to wrap up that project that much faster and getting on to the next one. So your time is and its value is very real, and we can help rapidly increase your profit margins when leveraging our time-saving automation features with BitTitan. So that all sounds great, I hope, and we're going to give you some support and resources here just to kind of close it out. So just to talk about our support and how we'll support you as you're doing those migration projects and you're on your way to increasing your profitability. We do offer free 24/7 email-based support, same-day response, and we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating from our support there. Premium phone support is available for purchase. I'll be honest with you, though, we hardly have any partners that ever take advantage of that because the tool's just that easy to use. And if you do have a quick question, just shoot it over email and we'll get you the answer and you'll be back on your way. We also provide a rich library of knowledge base articles. We provide a migration guide for every source destination combination that we support. So whether you're migrating from Lotus Notes to Office 365 or Google Workspace to Office 365, we have a migration guide built out specifically for your scenario, and you can grab that and have that experience. We also have an in-product guided tutorial that is absolutely fantastic. If you've got an account with us and you're inside the dashboard, you're getting ready to start a project, you can just click the help icon and hit guided tutorial. Find the project that the source destination project and workload type that you're working on, and you will get a guided tour through how to complete that project. It's almost like somebody's standing over your shoulder and says, hey, click here, put in this information there. Next screen, hey, click here, put this information here. So it's a really great way to have that kind of assistance where it feels like you have somebody that's guiding you through the process. So for those of you who have never used BitTitan before, strongly encourage you, go and create an account. It's free. It's very easy to use. You just go to our website, BitTitan.com, create an account, and you'll be on your way. We've got a link here to an excellent free video that I would recommend that you watch. This is going to help you get started. Shows you how to create an account, how to, once you've purchased licensing from Intcomex, it'll show you how to get those licenses into your account, and it'll show you how to access the self-help tools that I was just mentioning a moment ago. So definitely take a look at that, as well as we've got a short survey here. This will be, again, we'll email this out to you, but we'll have the survey link there. Feel free to fill it out, and we'll give you 2 free user migration bundle licenses just for attending today's webinar and a means of letting you try out the product and making sure that it's going to suit your project needs. So for those of you who have used BitTitan before, just as a reminder, we have other resources that can help your business grow and scale as well. So we have technical strategists available. If you have a project and you want to ask one of our technical strategists some questions, you want some help in understanding the best way to set up and prioritize your project and the workloads that you're going to migrate, reach out to us and we can get one of those on the line for you. We also have POC licenses available for if it's a new project type you're not familiar with and you'd like to try out a new license, let us know and we can get you some trial licenses for those new products that you've not yet leveraged. We also have special pricing available. If you have an end customer that's an educator or a nonprofit, we can provide some special pricing for you. Just reach out to the Intcomex team, let them know that your end user is an educator or a nonprofit. We will need to validate that it's from an actual EDU mailbox address that's being migrated, or that you can validate that they're a nonprofit entity. But we have those resources available to you. And then if you'd like some additional training on these different tools and solutions that I mentioned today, let us know. We can set those up for you as well. I do know, I think either later this quarter or early next, we're going to have another session that will be in Spanish. And we'll have one of our technical strategists on there to actually give you a guided tour through the product and some of the new features and functionalities that we have as well. So thank you, everybody, for the time and attention today. I do want to quickly open it up for any questions that anyone might have on the content we covered today.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Adam. Very interesting content.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Marlene. All the team, thank you very much. And well, I think we're done.
Thank you. Great.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.